Hello all, welcome to HRTech.ion's demo hour, our first demo hour edition in 2022. In today's session, we will be showcasing how we can leverage technology for engaging and hiring freshers from campuses. Before we move ahead, a quick overview of HRTech.ion's marketplace, which is India's largest and curated marketplace of over 55 plus HRTech providers. You can log on to www.hrtech.in/marketplace to review all the providers that are servicing the Indian market. We are also the creators of the India HRTech market map. We embarked on HRTech demo our event series in 2019 to evangelize and promote use of HR technologies. The event provides a platform for HR technology providers to showcase their high-tech solutions, thereby aiding the acceleration of adoption of HR tech. The event motto has always been only to showcase demos and not presentations. The first event happened on September 2019 at our WeWork facility in Suntec, Singapore. And then after the onset of the pandemic, we have moved to an on-demand webinar format. We have done demo hour events focused on various topics such as mental wellness tech, technology for managing blue-collar workers, technology for managing diversity, equity, inclusivity, and belonging, and so on and so forth. Today, we are focused on identifying the relevant technology solutions for talent acquisition teams to help them in university hiring or hiring freshers from campuses. The key challenges faced by campus hiring teams are quite immense. Number one, the erstwhile mass on-site hiring process at the campus has been replaced by virtual hiring process. This has proven to be complex for companies that have traditionally relied on a manual hiring process. Number two, there's a strong need to drive the organization's diversity, equity, inclusivity, and belonging agenda, and not just diversity hiring. Number three, there is a hiring bias due to traditional recruiting methods, and that can be removed. The bias can be broken only by leveraging technology. And just to clarify, to simplify the DEIB framework, we say diversity is being invited to the party and inclusion is being asked to dance, as framed by Verna Myers. Equity is having an accessibility ramp to the door, and belonging is deciding the music for the party, as defined by Jeff Hutchinson. So that creates a perspective for DEIB. Number four, decentralized recruitment process and added to it multiple silos and systems within the organization has resulted in a lot of inefficiencies and cost leakages. So we need to ensure the leakage of valuable dollars is plugged, and there is a lot of focus that needs to be brought on profitability and margins by adopting technology. There is currently a lack of a data-driven approach by most companies, and there is a lot more reliance on gut-based decision-making approach, which has led to wrong hires, more specifically from a fitment perspective. So we need to ensure we adopt a data-driven approach. Finally, there's a strong need for a centralized talent marketplace platforms, and that can be brought about only by leveraging technology solutions, and that to be best-in-class technology solutions such as those we are going to witness today. In fact, for today's session, we have 4 best-in-class HR tech tools who would be demonstrating their platforms. Dawton is represented by Arun Kumar. Newfast is represented by Ignis. RippleHire represented by Amit Das and Joel Samuel. Xobin represented by Guru Prakash. And I'm extremely thrilled to welcome our expert TA panel comprising Kritivasan and Joshua David, both representing billion-dollar sized tier 1 IT services firms. Joshua manages the India campus hiring function for Mphasis. Joshua is very passionate about training and has a wide range of experience in addressing and grooming future aspiring students and educating them on the significance of understanding the basis of whatever they do. So through this initiative, he has actually addressed more than 100,000 students across India. And prior to Emphasis, he has played various HR leadership roles with HCL, Wipro, Cognizant, and Hexavan. Thank you, Joshua, for being with us today. We also have Kritivasan, who heads the strategy and engagement for university hiring and also heads the India Business School hiring for Virtusa. He started off with Meritrack Services, an assessment firm, and prior to joining Virtusa, he was working with Deloitte, where he was playing the role of HR business partner. In his current role at Virtusa, apart from recruitment, he is responsible for the branding engine, conducting competitions, workshops, and faculty development programs across the country for the combined entity. In fact, he was awarded by World HRD Congress as Young HR Achiever in February 2018. Thank you once again for being with us, Kritivasan. It's a pleasure to have you and Joshua be part of our HR panel today. And now hand it over to Arun from Dawton for his presentation. Over to you, Arun.
So first, Sriram, big thanks for the opportunity, and great to have other panel members. Myself, Arun, being associated with Dotin. So what we exactly do, because Sriram has rightfully mentioned few key challenges when it comes to campus hiring, and that's where Dotin primarily fits the bill, which is like knowing your talent better. No fuzzing around in terms of gauging the talent basis, their skills aspect of it. We try to bring an additional tangent, but giving you a brief. So we are a SaaS-based talent analytics company, and what we are good or best at is we understand the core motivation of any human being, align them to the right opportunity without asking a single question in 60 seconds. So that's become the USP, because what we are trying to do is bring an additional dimension in terms of understanding what the talent is all about. About the organization, we were founded in 2014, based out of the Valley, but started penetrating the market from 2018 onwards. As rightly Sriram mentioned, few key challenges. What we are trying to bring onto the table is bringing up the additional dimension, that is viewing the candidate beyond resume. Because majority of the time when you're doing a campus hire, there is no uniqueness in the resume, because they pretty much studied the same course curriculum, they may have the same skill set. What we bring onto the table, the additional dimension which we call about, is what's the individual's core motivation or the core personality, and how he or she fits well with respect to the organization culture. So what we do here is it's an intelligent talent identification platform. We are not saying that we shouldn't look towards skills and experience, but provide an equal weightage towards understanding the talent's core motivation and value, and create a balancing act. So that's where you can primarily find that best suitable candidate pretty much in real time through the platform. But it has its own inherent core challenges when it comes to understanding the personality or a behavioral of a talent, because when we start assessing individuals, it is either purely based on question-based assessment or through gamification. But what it inherent challenge here is, it only covers the conscious side of an individual, which covers only 10% of what he or she is, and majority of the time it is driven by needs. As a solution, what Dawton brings out to the table is understanding the talent better through the subconscious influences, because that's where 90% of that core personality resides. Three ways to do that actually right after the market. One is understanding the individuals through their color criteria or selection. Second is through writing style, and third is through music tones and frequencies. Dotin has purely patented colors and writing style. We are actually in WIP when it comes to understanding an individual's core personality through their music tones and frequencies. And what's the magic primarily when it comes to color? So it's a proven science. When I talk about the color theory, it's a proven science. Again, this is not something invented by Dawton. This has been used in the market since ages, like since 1960s. And if we look into every organization, right, in the demo session also, every organization's logos has certain flavors in terms of propagating certain core personality about an organization to an end user. We picked up the same aspect here, because like when it comes towards the color emotion guide, which was published by the marketing firms in 1960s, and then Nippon research primarily proved that, hey, it's not just those classical colors. If you bring colors, contrast, and hues together, you're pretty much able to understand the core personality of an individual. That's what Dawton did, reverse engineered the entire process. First, understand what the talent is all about, and then help them understand or fit primarily with respect to how they fit with a job, even with a team, because anyhow, they would be joining towards a larger team. And the best aspect when it comes to the 60-second assessment is we don't focus on gender, race or ethnicity. So which makes us one of the most unbiased and ethical AI platform out into the market. And followed by one more aspect which Sriram talked about towards diversity, right? So like when it comes to Dotin, we can actually have diversity of thought when it comes to hiring new talents from the campus for the organization. So that's the uniqueness of the platform. And second patent which we have is understanding the individual through their style of writing. I do understand when we pick up a resume, it consists of lots of noise, very specifically to India as a market. So if you combine the 60-second color assessment followed by the resume upload, we can pretty much identify what is the individual's job and team fit, both through their core motivation values as well as through their skill fitment also. And last is primarily like this is what it would look like when it comes to talent screening. In real time, I can help you stack rank candidate basis the resume and the 1-minute assessment. So that's primarily a kind of a brief walkthrough. This is a kind of a link which I can even share in the chat window. Anyone can feel free to go through the 60-second assessment. Let's just kind of experiencing what I was just mentioning about. Quickly switching towards the demo aspect of it. So what I'm doing right now is I'm logging in as a purely as a recruiter. And once I log in, I have a brief information with respect to that specific login. That means a brief dashboard in terms of usage so far, number of employees being assessed, number of ideal models being created. I will spend a minute's time what exactly an ideal model, because that's where the entire magic starts here, and the number of saved contacts, etc. So moving towards the left, since we have a paucity of time, what I'm quickly doing is I'm taking a classical job, software engineers, software developers, and what additional we can bring out into the table here is, let me just copy paste the entire JD for you. So when it comes to Dawton's engine, we are pretty much equipped enough to understand unstructured data. I've just added the job title as well and building an ideal profile. And when I'm building an ideal profile, I'm not just looking into the skills or the key skills with respect to the specific job role. I look into the cultural attributes as well. So let me showcase you quickly what the system has identified basic skills, because this is pretty much easy to kind of decode. Now, when it comes to cultural attributes, two key aspects to primarily look at just to understand which individual may fit pretty well for this specific job role. We understand the individual's working style, which is based on Holland's occupation theory. And second is the learning style, which is based on Gardner's multiple intelligence. So when we understand the specific job role called as software engineer, what the system primarily predicts is when you're hiring, look for individuals who are high towards investigative. That means they're highly observant, great towards analytics, etc., followed by being conventional. That means process-oriented individuals, and then being someone who is realistic in nature. That means being a goal-oriented person. And when it comes to learning style, when it comes to this job, we are looking very, very specifically for someone who is high towards logical, mathematical, someone having great towards spatial visual. That means he's able to visualize things in terms of what he's about to design and what it will eventually be used as an end user. And then a minor amount with respect to bodily kinesis. That means an hands-on experience. So we create this cultural attributes. Again, we have multiple ways to create one. And once that is being done, for every job role, now that's the beauty of it. So for every job role, the system creates a unique URL. Now this unique URL can be shipped across to n number of prospect candidates to experience Dawton's 60-second assessment followed by the resume upload. And would be walking through what the experience would be. I'm just pasting the link here. I'm doing a random candidate registration. But before that, it primarily opens up a small video link, which helps a student just to understand how to go through the assessment, because it's pretty much unique in nature. I'm doing a random registration. Cool. Once I submit that, it auto logs in and primarily instruct the candidate to go through the image assessment. Now, the beauty of the image assessment is a candidate would eventually see 60 pixelated color images. Out of that, he has to select 10 of those, which appeals to him the most in 60 seconds. And that's it. That's the entire assessment duration and the process. So these are the 60 pixelated images. Right now, I'm doing a randomization. Sorry about it. But a candidate goes through the way he primarily likes those color, followed by an option to upload the resume. If he doesn't have one handy, he can skip and the recruiter can manually upload it. But right now, let me do an upload resume. May not be the right one, not sure, but let me take one of it. That's the experience, what a candidate goes through. Within a minute's time, the assessment is complete. Let me kind of re-log in as a recruiter to see how the outcomes looks like. Once I log in, I go back to the job, software engineer. We do see a candidate has been registered. Let me visit your shortlist. Okay, that's amazing. So for this specific demo candidate, the overall score comes out as 45%, with a cultural alignment is to 52, and then the skill alignment is to 38. Now you can do a large amount of analytics when it comes to purely identifying which set of candidate actually fits the bill for this specific job role. Starting with, we have right off the back, we do have a feature called as work from home. Because of this COVID being hit across the globe, we are looking for individual who can work virtually or who are good working from home. So we do have a mechanism to understand through their personality or through their resume that who all primarily can work virtually. So once I primarily switch on the toggle button, I'm not sure if Rahul, okay, yes, seems like Rahul is the right candidate to primarily work from home. We don't ask those questions specifically because like from a human psyche perspective, if you start asking questions to individuals, they always try to answer looking to an outcome. So they don't want to come in a bad books or say that, hey, I'm not comfortable working from home. Majority of them would say yes to it. So just to kind of disassociate or add any biasness in the process, we don't ask one. Followed by, we also look into these individuals' core values. Now, these core values can be reconfigured with respect to the organization's core competencies, but we primarily follow the industry standard 16 of them, but the configuration is possible. Followed by the cultural alignment score and the skill alignment weightages primarily. So again, we give enough flexibility to an end user, which is a recruiter, to primarily reach out to the best candidate possible. Just to kind of help you out how the cultural and the skill alignment aspect works, let me add few more random individuals within this software engineer as a job bucket. And this tool actually can be used to refurbish any of your old resume data. Data maybe kind of for 2021 or 2020, you can actually use this platform to refurbish and see which candidate fits bill. So as I do this randomization, I have added few more candidates in the list. Now I can primarily play with the data that, hey, Arun, I don't want anyone with respect to cultural fitment, but I purely want to hire individuals based on skill. I reapply, and the entire sorting mechanism primarily works with respect to the skill alignment. Then we do have additional filter mechanism basis gender, basis ethnicity. This is very specifically for the US market, followed by towards experience as well. So that's the initial level sorting mechanism which we bring out to the table. Now we can primarily dig deeper in terms of where this 57% coming through. So if we click on it, it gives you a bifurcation basis education, basis skills, industries, and management level. And we provide enough flexibility to change these weightages as well, right off the back across every job role you create. So because when you're hiring freshers, you can give higher weightage towards education and lesser weightage towards skills or towards your management level, so that you're actually bringing the right set of talent in the top of your funnel. And then last but not the least, you can primarily dig deeper about this particular candidate, get a recommendation for, like, get the basic information, get the candidate resume analysis, a single liner synopsis of what the talent resume is all about, what has been his core competencies, followed by a brief recommendation from the engine, how to even engage with this talent. Now things becomes much deeper here, because as I said, we are providing additional dimension to engage with this talent. And this goes till the level of how to email, how to even work with this talent, and what all best tools can entice this individual, and how to even incentivize this talent. 3 broad buckets: training, compensation, benefits, and employee engagement. And this incentivization can actually act as a potential hook to onboard some quality candidates into your organization. Followed by their entire skill dictionary, their core cultural values. Now, this is very specific to this individual, his working style, learning style, the dominant attributes, and the compatibility one. And last but not the least is what's his core values. And as I mentioned, these core values can be reconfigured with respect to your organization competencies. But this is what is for this individual: being self-controlled, being a dependable individual, and being stress tolerant. And this entire profile of this individual can be exported as a PDF, and followed by, we do have a smaller report being generated. Now, this report actually comes handy. Sorry, it's a resume. This small PDF report comes handy when you're actually moving this set of talent for the subsequent level of interview process. So what's the name of the candidate for which job role he's associated with? What's the overall recommendation, more of a satisfactory hire? What's the alignment with respect to this job role basis on skills? What all are the non-alignments? That means if any training needs to be provided for this specific talent, these information can be taken from the gaps identification, followed by what's his core working style, the learning style, the workplace values, and the incentivization. And last but not the least, how to email and how to work with them. So that's a brief.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Arun. That was really comprehensive demo of the platform. I move over to Joshua first. Joshua, any questions for Arun?
Okay, hey, thanks, Arun, for that demo. Having said that, today we are not talking about a limited number. Campus is all about mass hiring, and every company has started doing on a volume per se. It is not the Cognizants or the Accentures or the TCS of the world. Today, even Emphasis or the Hexavers of the world, they've really felt down in terms of the lateral hiring, but the focus is more of campus. So whatever we heard right now, I don't think so we would have a time to deal with every individual separately in terms of his competencies or whatever potential is put across in this resume. So how do we go about in terms of the mass hiring? How do I get these information at one shot if I'm going to hire close to 500 or 600 people from one campus or throughout? That's the only question I have.
Great question, Joshua. So the screen which you are seeing right now is the one where you can actually bring down or boil down to that set of individuals you're looking forward for, including the values, right? Like, for example, as I said, that, for example, you're looking for individuals who can work from home at the same time, carrying some core values of emphasis, which is like analytical thinking, attention to detail, and cooperation, and click on apply. It will only bring up those set of talent actually. So if you scale this entire example, if you have 2,000 records, it will end up showing you like possibly 500 records or 600 records. And basis, for example, if you're looking for very specifically for a female hire, the sorting goes more precise actually. Does that answer?
That answer my question.
Awesome.
Thank you, Arun. Kriti?
Yeah. So, Arun, thank you so much for the presentation. I have basically 2 questions for you. One is, again, on the similar lines of the campus scale. Now, when we ask the students to first upload, you're saying that they have to choose 10 random color palettes, and then that will give you the cultural fitment. Now, most of the times, like what you did in the beginning, okay, just for the demo purpose, most of the time the students will also tend to just choose randomly, right? So there is no proper combination or science behind they choosing, or they need to be taught as to what exactly they should look at to fit their alignment, right? So if you get a score, now we are saying that it directly aligns to the cultural fitment. Now, do you have a use case which says that we have already done this, we have checked it, and it has actually been working out? What is the percentage that you have seen?
Oh, absolutely. So two aspects here actually, Krithivasan. One is I did it from a demo perspective. Once a candidate sees it for the first time, they do it in the subconscious mind because they don't know what selection would lead to what outcome. So they primarily go with the entire flow, and that's what I need because I'm trying to understand a talent at the subconscious level, not the conscious level. And that switching easily takes somewhere between 60 to 90 seconds. That's the study. That's a proven study. Again, we are not just making it up. So once I have that time frame of 60 to 90 seconds, I'm able to gauge what the individual's core culture, the core personality is. And when I create that ideal model, I just do a super mapping of it. And yes, we do have case studies, Krithivasan, proving like when we are actually associated with companies like a TCS or a Byju's, where they're actually using it for their freshers hiring, laterals hiring, even for their frontline insurance hiring individuals, that if someone culturally fits well, he primarily the performance is actually impacted in a very positive way. We do have case studies for that same, Krithivasan.
Okay, and one more question. On the skill alignment part, it is directly taking from your resume. And there is no assessment or anything.
No.
And honestly, today, college resume is all about cut, copy, paste.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I can shamelessly admit that when I was in my college, I copied my brother's CV.
Correct.
So you're going to throw all the options that is actually, which is relating to my brother, but you're reflecting on my CV. That is how I have done it. And that is how the system is going to pick up. So we want something which is actually authenticated also, right? So how does this authenticate? Is there any other mechanism through which it is also getting authenticated, or it is only picking up the keywords from the CV and then throwing the result?
Sure. So there is a minor authentication, Krithivasan. We don't do that elaborately. We look into the number of recurring of those keywords. If someone has written Java only once, we don't bring that keyword actually up. Someone has mentioned under projects or under key skills, then we primarily authenticate that, hey, he might be good at this certain skills. But having said that, that's where the beauty of that 1 minute assessment, Krithivasan, comes in, because when you goes to campus, right, you will primarily see very similar resume with similar skill set. But how do you eventually shortlist? Either you go through a classical assessments where they go through a coding examination, etc. That too still can be tweaked. But if you superimpose this with their cultural fitment is where the magic comes out.
And one last, if you don't mind,
Sure.
in fact, two parts on your last answer. In fact, how the copy paste happens is even Joshua can add. We have seen cases where people have gone to the extent of copy pasting their fathers and mothers' name. So that's the kind of people that we have been coming across.
Absolutely.
Now, one last question that I have for you on going back on the cultural alignment. You said you have the use cases, right? So was it like for the mass hiring, which even Joshua spoke about, or was it like a specific skill set based hiring?
Both. So I will primarily split it. So when it comes to Byju's, it's primarily mass hiring. So any frontline individual who's hired, because they primarily follow the agent or the insurance hiring model, each individual goes through Dawton's cultural assessment, because at that level they don't have a clear resume. So they primarily look towards the cultural alignment of that individual. Now, when it comes to TCS or towards Capgemini, yes, they do look towards skills, but then they primarily change the weights of the skill alignment here, as well as the cultural alignment weights here, just to primarily land the best candidate possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Arun. That was a very comprehensive answer and showcasing your platform, which can help in mass hiring of freshers. Thank you very much. Next, we move on to Ignis of Newfast, who's going to showcase the video platform. Over to you, Ignis.
Okay, thank you, Sharam, for inviting Newfast, and happy to be here today. Just to share a little bit about Newfast. Newfast has been around for 4 years, and we are quite proud that over the duration of our 4 years, we have got several HR Innovation Awards yeah, pretty excited about the future ahead. And we have a team of data science, recruitment, and IO psychology experts. So we wanted to provide a professional, high quality cloud solution for our B2B customers, as well as some higher education user. Yeah. Our proprietary deep learning model is trained on over 54,000 interview video files that we collected on our platform. And with the transcribe test, we have transcribed more than 10 million spoken words in English, Cantonese, Mandarin, and Thai. So we have supported over 180 employers, recruitment agencies so far. Some of the feedback from our customers includes 40 to 70% of cost savings, 83% accuracy when we compared our AI competency scores with the client's internal competency rating of the candidate. We also have our IO psychology team to do our conversion alpha reliability test, and the test result come out to be 91% for reliability. So we are quite proud that we are able to, based on NLP, natural language processing, and visual audio deep learning model to help with the first round video screening, yeah, for campus recruitment. In terms of the deep learning model architecture, you can see it on the on your left hand side, top left hand side. That is the from the bottom you have the raw video data coming into the deep learning model, and that would then broke down into 3 incoming data stream for video, so including visual data, audio data, and textual data. Yeah, and the deep learning model is pre-trained on a large video pool and corpus. Yeah, and then there would be a fine-tuning layer to extract these features from these 3 incoming data stream. So for visual data, we extract the facial expression and gesture features. For audio data, we extract tonality, pace, rhythm features. And for textual data, we extract semantic meaning. Yeah, that is the key for our competency model scoring. Then after that, we have a regression layer to come up with 2 scores. First is the impression score. Basically, impression score includes self-confidence scores, like how confident he or she sounds in the audio, and also there's enthusiasm. So this is a score basically based on positive facial emotions, as well as composure score. Composure really based on also the visual element of the incoming data. And then for the competency scores, we will have this triarchy model of web performance, and there will be another 24 competencies if the job required those competencies to be scored by the HR manager or the recruiter. Yeah, so let's go to the next page. Yeah, just wanted to explain a little bit of Newfast competency model for the prediction of job performance, especially for graduates who are generally having a broad skill set. Yeah, and seem to be quite difficult to judge and evaluate because they are generally quite homogeneous in the competencies by the recruiter. So for our competency model, this is based on very traditional IO psychology theory on the EFA, exploratory factor analysis, and so this Triarchy model performance cover task performance, contextual performance, and adaptive performance. For task performance, we can then break it down to sub-level competencies such as leadership, managing execution, and goal and achievement driving. Yeah, and then for contextual performance, that can be even broken down into component level like communication skills, interpersonal relationship, and the organizational commitment. And then for adaptive performance, that really wanted to identify creativity, adaptability, and flexibility, and learning agility, etc. So according to a paper published by Dickman last year, titled Automated Video Interview Personality Assessment, Reliability, Validity, and Generalizability Investigation, the paper and the authors concluded that automated video interviews, AVI, personality assessment exhibited stronger evidence of validity when they were trained on interviewers' reports, i.e. HR and reviewers' rating, than self-reported psychometric surveys. So just wanted to give you an illustration of how we do these transcribe tests into competency scoring. So this is a passage that is a transcribed passage from audio recording from a job candidate. So the first competency that we can identify here is the learning agility, because in the transcript test, the job candidate mentioned that he or she can think that every challenge is a self-learning opportunity. And another competency that we can score on is the communication with impact, because the candidate also mentioned in his answer that he always tell himself and the teammates that they can just keep on processing and keep going regardless of challenges. And then for goal and achievement driving, it can be scored based on the transcript test that says that he or she can finish the job no matter the results are positive or negative. And also emotional intelligence, because the candidate also mentioned that he can actually feel relaxed and keep a chill attitude when facing problems, and can gain experience from failure. So just now, Sharam also highlighted the importance for campus recruitment for D&I. And we are sharing this case study, which have 106 job candidate in a recent campus recruitment for one of the Fortune 500 clients. And the studies here shows that the AI model can score impression score and competency scores by passing the 4-5 rule test. That means that there's no adverse effect on our scoring towards gender. Yeah, when we score people across the gender, I don't want to go too deep into this because it is actually another topic, yeah, that we can spend another hour talking. But just in a nutshell, that this is something that we are quite keen to emphasize, because campus recruitment will impact one's career for another 5 to 10 years, and is really something that me personally find it very important, because especially in Asia, job opportunities for females are actually need to be promoted. Yeah, especially for technical positions. So we will have this in mind when we build our AI model, taking into account that the AI score wouldn't discriminate against any of the gender. Yeah, and that is our goal. So this is a time where I go and share our live demo. Okay, so this is the login page for our recruiter. So once the recruiter log into our Newfast system, they can start adding jobs. So once they add job, they basically have an opening that they wanted to hire, and they have received a number of CVs, through the job board or social media. And once they created that job, due to the press of time, right, I just show you after inviting those candidates for video interview, this is what the candidate will be appeared in front of the recruiter. Okay, the recruiter will see all these job candidates who have completed the video interview on the Newfast system. On this page, the candidate will be listed according to the auto score by ranking. Like they are just ranked by the auto score automatically. Some of our clients actually prefer this way because they can now then go from the top percentile of the candidate and start evaluating those candidates. Okay, yeah. So over here, let me share the voice. So.
And my major is the marketing, and I'm the year 4 student.
Yeah. So this is the first question. Usually is about introduction, and they are given 2 minutes usually. And over here you can see this my scoring basically is for the recruiter or the HR manager to rate those students according to a set of scorecard that they have identified for the job. And then the second tab is the auto scoring. Basically, this is automated scoring from our Newfast system. As I previously explained, there are 2 big scores for impression scores as well as for the potential work performance score. There's also a big 5 personality scores for reference only. And down here, you can also see some qualitative analysis based on the score. So in our system, there are 3 categories of the score. So one is a low score, is from 1 to 3, a medium score, which is 4 to 6, and 7 to 9, which is a high score. And depending on which bucket of the score each competency is scored, then they will have corresponding qualitative explanation of the score that comes along it. For the weighting, actually this is where the recruiter or the HR manager set when they evaluate the job description. So based on the job description analysis, the HR would then have already decided the weighting for each of the competencies. And then the third tab is actually the emotional indicator. You can see that this is in terms of the time of the video. So this is 1 minute 45 seconds video long, and over this period of time, that's how the facial emotions have changed over time. Yeah, it's a time series. And then over here, there's a summary of the facial emotions in terms of neutral emotions, surprise, disgust, and happy. There's also an indicator for the word per minute. So for English speakers, the normal speaking pace is 120 English words per minute. And lastly, there's also a reviewer score. This will come when the recruiter invite a reviewer to evaluate the candidate. There's also a PDF report for download, and that PDF basically will evaluate in more detailed each of the competencies. Okay. So this is a evaluation report. There are some background information about the program and how we do this scoring. And then it will be broken down into 2 sessions. basically is the impression as well as the potential performance. So each of the sessions will have detailed descriptions of the score. If a score of 5, that's a medium score. Then they will have all these description that describe the leadership styles and the goal achievement driving scores for the tracking model of web performance. There's also a section for development needs, strength of development needs. That is only when the scores fall below 3, yeah, and then that will be coming up in the development area. And for strength, that will be appear for those competency with a score of 7 or above. So I hope that this is sufficient for all the audience today to understand about Newfast technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Agnes. You know, you can really get so much information from just a few minutes of video. So that's really awesome. Thank you very much, Agnes. Joshua, your question.
Okay, thanks, Agnes, for that. How strong is your proctoring? And if somebody else wants to do a proxy, how strong your system stops doing that?
When you say proxy, are you saying that someone who are not the candidate?
Exactly, because today, Sriram and everybody knows the entire world is talking about virtual, and a lot of things happens in the background. So how Newfast can really stop in terms of getting that done?
Yeah, it's a good question, Joshua. From our experience of helping companies hiring from campus for internships to graduate programs, I would say we use identification using the email address, because those email addresses are actually given by the recruiter, and it's actually uploaded by the recruiter themselves. So the system will actually email each of the invited candidate password, and that password is generated only one time by Newfast system, and that password will not be shared with the recruiter. It will just be sent by email and by SMS to the registered email address and the phone number of the candidate. So in the case when the candidate receiving this password from Newfast system and he or she asks her friend, his or friend, to do these videos interview on behalf, then actually there's identification issue here, because when the candidate comes for face-to-face interview, that is when you know, if they are lucky enough that they get to the first round video interviews, and then they meet the HR face-to-face, that is when they got caught, because they are not looking the same as when they meet in the video recording. So you know, I would say that rarely happens so far from our candidate or from our clients. Like, our client never tell us that, you know, someone who got so high in the video interview scores, at the end they are not themselves when they come to see the HR and the hiring manager. So
thanks, Agnes. Yeah, that's
yeah. Thank you, Joshua.
Kriti?
Agnes, one last question and a straightforward question. Is your aim to eliminate the L1 discussion, or is your aim to get the right candidate for the interview? Just a simple one-word answer for you.
Oh, okay. Oh, our client use our system for first run screening, video screening. Yeah. So there are other assessment down the road. Yeah. And we are just one layer of assessment.
Okay. Thank you so much. Back to Sriram.
Thank you very much, Agnes. Thanks, Kriti and Joshua. We now move over to Amit from RippleHire for the next demonstration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir.
Over to you.
Thank you, Sriram and team. Thank you for the opportunity. And Arun and Agnes, thank you for the wonderful demo and insights on some of the tech interventions on the assessment platform. I'll have my colleague Joel talk about the organization, and then quickly we'll move on to the demonstration.
Thank you, Sriram, for having us here. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joel. I'm part of the RippleHire team. RippleHire has been in existence for the past 9 years. We serve around 800,000 users across 35 plus countries. We only cater to large enterprises. For example, Axis Bank uses us to hire their 100,000 workforce in 6,000 plus locations. Mphasis uses us to recruit in more than 30 plus countries. As an organization, we are ISO certified, GDPR compliant. We're also SOC 2 Type 2 certified as well. In the ATS front, we compete with the likes of an Oracle or an SAP. And our employer referral product, in the entire employer referral space, we are category leaders. We're usually happy when our customers win, and our customers win big. So happy to share that, HDFC Life, LTI, Mphasis Technologies, they've won the Brandon Hall Gold Award for Excellence in Talent Acquisition, which is considered an Oscar or a Gartner equivalent in the HR space. The RippleHire platform currently, every minute there's around 2.5 applications that happen on the RippleHire platform, and every 11 minutes a recruiter transforms the life of a candidate in the form of a hire. We are fortunate to serve the fraternity of recruiters who are essentially professionals, who kind of change the world, I might say, one offer at a time. So today we'll be taking you through one of our modules, that is the candidate module. I have Amit along with me. Amit heads the customer success team at RippleHire. He's been a recruiter and a talent acquisition leader himself. So Amit, over to you.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you, everyone. As everyone mentioned, the core problem statement around campus hiring has been assessments, point one. Along with the assessments, when we always talk about campus hiring, it's also synonym of volume hiring, which also means any of this processing that can take significant time and effort would have severe impact or a good or a great impact on the way the offers are rolled out, one, and then we see candidates joining or not joining the organizations. At the same time, in this campus hiring model, organizations, all the organizations, the same segment compete with each other, which also means for any of the organization, the differentiator could be the way the organization is able to process offers, interview details and offers in bulk, and have the offers extended to the candidate as soon as possible, as quick as possible. Some of the organizations that we have looked at in the context of Indian IT industry, they are going with offers on the very same day, which also means that processing tons of profiles, one, completing all the mandatory checks and balances, updating the interview feedback, and then having the recruitment team, the campus recruitment team release as many as 100 to 500, 800 offers a day or in a span of 3-4 hours is something that we wanted to address. So I'm going to talk about the campus hiring model for at RippleHire and what we mean by those tech interventions. Now, also we looked at the transition of the campus hiring model from pure in-person on-campus module to a slow transition wherein it was slowly getting moved to the digital way of hiring. And in some of the organizations right now, it's the combo or the hybrid model, wherein some part do happen as in-person at campus, and then majority of the processing or the operations would happen over the tool or the platform. So with this, I'm just going to talk about real time. Yes, we do have options through which one would be able to share requirement or the particular job description with the TPO or the representative of the campus at the college. Then we'll look at how once the profiles are into the system, either through offline model or through digital mode, how the profiles can be moved from one stage to another. And one more thing, important thing, we are not talking about moving one profile or processing one profile at a time. It's about doing things in bulk. At the same time, we'll see if we're able to release offers, submit offer inputs in bulk, thereby reducing significant time and effort for the operations team or the campus operations team. Quickly, I'll move on to the platform. So the first use case, we talked about sharing the requirement or sharing the job description with the campus team or the talent or the representative of the college. So what we can do through WhatsApp, we do have an option through which we are able to share the specific link or the URL of the specific job. So over here, you can see there are multiple referral links or the links through which the requirement can be shared. The use case is Joel is the campus person from the organization. He has shared the requirement with Amit, and Amit is right now the TPO or the placement officer for a particular college. So Amit as a TPO would be able to share this requirement to his set of candidates or eligible candidates over the WhatsApp group. So once as a candidate, once I receive the link, I click on the link. That would open up the job description and the application form. And again, when we're talking about campus, so most of the attributes for a candidate data, the year of passing, the university, the grades, all those form fields can be added. So pretty much the application form is customizable. Right. So let's assume the details have been submitted by the candidate. Then once submitted, all such profiles would sit in the recruiter's workspace. So we would look at a particular job code, which is the operations manager. All right, and I click on this 14, which is the applied count. The 14 profiles are currently there in the applied bucket. So this is one of the ways wherein we have looked at in case the interview is happening as like on campus and there's a walk-in happening. There are teams who are doing the pre-placement talk, and then post that eligible candidates or interested candidates want to apply, they can use the link, the WhatsApp link. Second is the same WhatsApp link can also be converted to a QR code, which means they just scan the link, have the application form on their machine, laptop or smartphone, and they're able to submit profiles. Another use case, interviews have happened offline, and now a lot of profiles need to be added into the system, which needs to be done by the recruitment team. Again, doing one at a time would be a humongous challenge and task for the recruitment team. So for RippleHire, we do have a functionality through which the recruiter is able to bulk upload profiles. Just to give an example, I select some of the profiles. Let me pick two profiles, Shrikant and Devesh. I click on open. I'm selecting the channel as campus, and I click on submit. See, we are talking about two profiles. There could be 30, 40, 50 profiles or up to 100 profiles the recruiter want to bring in. This is only in the scenario wherein the interviews and all the discussions are happening at the physical location. Right. However, the other way is to always to do through the link that can be shared with the candidates, and they are able to submit the details. Okay. So if you see right now, there are two profiles that we tried to add and we got a duplicate message. So in turn, the system is also able to do a duplication check basis the candidate details available. I'll quickly show you one of this profile that is existing. Yeah, so if you see Devesh, the profile that we tried to add right now, we are getting a duplicate message. So two things to it. One is that the ease of upload using the bulk parsing mechanism, that's one. Second is also the governance mechanism. The system is able to perform a duplication check basis the profiles that exist in the system. All right. Now, quickly, we go to this particular job code, which is the operations manager. We talk about these 14 candidates. These profiles do exist. The second thing over here is now, since this is happening at a particular location, we do have panels available. We can send all these profiles for review to the technical team. All right, so we need not send it one, we can select all at a go and send it to the technical panel. Also, this link or this review mechanism is smartphone friendly, which means panels on the move would be able to check the details and submit the feedback. All right, so if you see, I have got a mail, and this is how it will look like for the panel. So right now the use case is of a panel. So as a panel, I have received the link. I can click on the URL. I get to see the list of all the candidates for which me or my team member need to update the feedback. So this is how it's going to look like. A simple screen on the left side, the list of all the candidates for which I need to update the feedback. One, any point in time, I want to review the job description that is available as well, which is operations manager. I want to look at the resume. Yes, I get the preview. And then I can go ahead and update the feedback. Something like this, file and accept. So this is the use case wherein, yes, panels are available and they have mentioned that, hey, we are traveling. However, you can share all the profiles with us. We would be able to update the feedback. So that's one way to look at it. Another use case I want to talk about is, let's assume the same use case. The interviews, all the discussions have happened offline. Now we would have to release the letters. And there is a mandate that all the feedback need to be updated onto the platform. So yes, we do have the option to update the feedback in bulk. On the top right, we do have an upload functionality through which we are able to update the assessment in bulk. I'll also show you how the file looks like. This is the format that we use to update the feedback of candidates in bulk. So there be 10 candidates, 20 candidates, 100 candidates. In one go, one can upload the sheet and the feedback for all the candidate records get updated. So if you see, there are 2 candidates for which the interview did happen. We do have the candidate records available. Interviews did happen on different days. The system is able to capture that as well. And then what we want to do once the feedback is submitted, we want to move such profiles to the offer bucket. Okay. So I'll just go ahead, use the bulk assessment upload option. And yeah, and upload the assessment sheet. All right, so if you see, 2 profiles got uploaded. And I'm done with that, which also means that if it is 250, 100, 150, at a go, a recruitment team member would be able to update the feedback of all the candidates and just in a matter of minutes. So no more waiting for the entire day, taking up the entire day or the weekend to update the feedback. Now, the second case, the use case is, well, we are good with bulk updating the feedback of the candidate. Either we have shared the link with the panel, or as a recruiter, I have used the Excel uploader to update the feedback. Now, when it comes to offer, can we update the feedback of candidates in bulk? All right. So similar to that, yes, we do have functionality, but before that, I just want to show you how a single letter release looks like, and then we would also check the bulk offer functionality. So I click here, make offer. Okay. I can quickly key in the basic details. All right, I can select the offer template. I can click on continue. All right. So the offer letter has been picked up. I can select the approver and then I can scroll down and send it for approval. So this is like one offer at a time. However, we would not, for most of the time, in most of the scenarios for campus hiring, we would not come across this model, which means that we would again look at the bulk upload functionality. I'll quickly show you how the Excel sheet looks like. If you see, I have entered the candidate details. They can have different CTCs to be offered, point taken. They can have a different date of joining as well. Approval can be same or different. So now we can go ahead, use the bulk offer upload functionality and submit the offers for approval. So in this way, we have seen from the existing customer client base, the organizations, they are able to, the recruitment team has been able to release a lot of offers in a span of few hours. All right, send 2 offers for approval. So we are done with release of offer letter for these 2 candidates. We are done with sending the offer letters for approval for these 2 candidate records. And if you see right now, all the details that we had done, we had updated basis the bulk upload functionality point 1, and we have sent the offer for approval to the approver. That is the second one. And if you see, while doing this demo, it didn't take much time. All got done quickly. Quickly, I'll just log into the approvers page. I'll show you how it looks like. All right, and again, the approver, the offer approver can be somebody from the talent acquisition team. Scenario is most of the time they are from the campus hiring team, the campus leadership team, or they can be from the delivery team as well. So you see, there are 2 candidates who have been selected for bulk offer. I can go ahead, select both, click on approve, and I'm done with that. Now, once the letter has been submitted, one can go ahead and release the letter. I'll quickly show you how the offer letter looks like for the candidate. Okay, so this is the offer received by Smriti, As a candidate, I can click on view details. All right, so these are the information I can get to see. Talks about the organization branding as well. This is smartphone friendly. I can get to see the benefits being offered by the organization. Right. And obviously, I'll also talk about the company culture, and I scroll down, I get to access the offer letter as well. And post that, one last thing, once the offer formalities are complete, the recruitment team will be able to initiate a documentation request. And this is how the candidate's page would look like when they are prompted to submit the required documentation. With this, I stop my demo here, open for questions.
Thank you very much, Amit. From this application process to onboarding, very comprehensive on one platform. Thank you very much again. Joshua, over to you.
Okay, nothing much, Amit and Joel, because they've been talking about, we've been using their platform for quite some time. Thank you so much for your support, because day in, day out, we've been interacting with your RippleHire team as well on the additions and deletions in the platform, which can cater to a lot of hiring in campus. So my point is only thank you.
Thank you, Joshua. And one thing I want to mention, we have been associated with Mphasis for the last 6 years. Many of those interventions that we have brought in are basis feedback from the recruitment team. So that's the reason we talk about that. Yes, we are for recruiters and by recruiters.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Amit and Joel.
Thank you. Kriti?
Yeah, so in fact, I really like the last statement by the recruiters for the recruiters. So that really caught my attention. So only one question I have. In fact, I was actually looking for something which has a WhatsApp integrated into it, wherein any communication, anything to do with the candidate and stuff, there is a communication that directly goes to their WhatsApp. So is this integrated with the candidate WhatsApp also?
Okay, so answer to your question, from the tech side, we are done with that work. So we have already worked on that. We do have a functionality through which we are able to send the WhatsApp integration, the updates to the WhatsApp integration. The work is complete. We intend to release this maybe in the next quarter. It's also pending the approval of those texts and the inputs by the central team, which is being looked at by the government. And that's the only point we are waiting for. But then, yes, we do have SMS integration. As through SMS, we do send invites and updates, whether for employee referral or for candidates. We have already worked for WhatsApp, should be out by next quarter.
Got it. That's all.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amit and Joel. Really appreciate it. So we've seen a range of solutions for campus hiring. Now we hand it over to our final presenter of the day. Guru, over to you for the Xobin demo.
Thank you so much, Sriram. It was actually a pleasure seeing all the demos and great set of questions from Joshua and Keitwasan as well. Right, I feel like I'm giving the vote of thanks, but thank you so much to Sriram and the HRTech Dotin team for giving this opportunity to present to us. Right, I understand the feelings of everybody. I'm going to try and make it short. So Xobin is a skill assessment software. We don't specialize only in recruitment. We work on a couple of other verticals as well. So we are a solid skill assessment software where we specialize in building content, right? Which candidates enjoy answering, and it's very easy to understand, and so on. So this assessment software is used for recruitment, training management, online examinations by colleges, and also for learning and development institutes, so on. So it's used for multiple use cases. Good thing is we do integrate with a lot of well-known ATSs and a lot of learning management tools and training management tools and so on. So our platform gets used across. So which means that when we say that we specialize in assessments, we have pretty much all kinds of assessments that mankind would have heard about, including video assessments, including MCQs, right? Coding tests, psychometric assessments, assessments in the form of games, assessments that can pick up in the phone. Me and my product team, we make sure that we build a lot of assessments, and we also do specialize to an extent in proctoring. Not because we are from India, but proctoring is pretty much required right now with the current remote thing overall. So today we're talking about university hiring, I believe. So few points to set the context. I'm going to be only demonstrating things that we in Xobin that are used for university hiring and campus recruitment in general. Okay, so in 2020, for this, we've assessed close to 150,000 students who are going to be graduated in 2022. You see, we are known for high volume recruitment. So from the last time we demoed in HRTech.sg in September till now, we have assessed over 500,000 candidates. Okay, which I believe is pretty much higher than most of our assessment competitors. We are known for our high volume assessments, right? And we also specialize in crafting assessments which students can really pass, and it will make the life of the recruiter easy. No point in giving assessment where the recruiter can't shortlist, right? It's very annoying. Right? What's the point of giving a complicated H-rank assessment which people really can't answer? Because India is not just India. In most of the countries that we worked with, many students really do not know how to use an online coding compiler and so on and so forth. We have colleges across. We see 4 categories of colleges. We have assessments wherein which we can shortlist students from every single category of colleges. If you even just take the engineering sector as such. And of course, I think Agnes said that campus recruitment is a very important thing in someone's life. It's going to set the tone for the next 5 to 10 years. A group of segment of students see that I can do anything to crack this assessment. That also includes proxying and copying. In the 6 years of running Zorban, I have learned that it is impossible to stop a student from copying a test online. I mean, sites like big companies' website gets hacked, people cheat, banks get hacked. So assessments can be copied, but we build tools to ensure that there are proper deterrents and make sure that candidates, would feel hesitant to copy, and we take it very seriously. All right. So like I said, in the 6 years, we've conducted over 1 million assessment completions. Out of that, the past 600 to 700,000 is just the last 1 year. We've got over 500 plus paying customers. Our customers are not necessarily recruiting a lot of people, but they assess a lot of people. Even if they have to hire 10 interns, they go ahead and assess from 32 different colleges, and they make sure that they hire the best talent, right? And like I said, we've got over 1,000 plus skill assessments, which are created by subject matter experts and are scientifically validated, and through which you can really shortlist some students. With that, I'm going to jump into the demo. All right. So this is the basic dashboard of Xobin. All right. Good news is, from the last time we demoed in HRTech to now, we have completely changed the product. That's a great news. We have completely changed the UI of our product and so on. So when you log in, you get the simple number as to how many students were invited, how many candidates were invited in the past last 2 days, and how many of them have qualified, how many of them have not qualified, how many have started the test, and how many have not completed the test. Because since we are a skill assessment platform, it's all about assessments. We focus the data on them. You can see it in different charts, or you can see in plain simple numbers. Quick fun fact: this is our internal recruitment for Xobin. We use this account for hiring for Xobin. We have assessed over 4,000 odd people, out of which 600. This is our qualification, not qualification rate. You can just go ahead and see, and this is our completion rate. So this is pretty much the dashboard, and here in the right corner, you can see the live people who are taking up the test right now. 3 people are taking up the test right now. And we get to see this counter as to how many people are taking up the test at every given point of time. This is the fundamental homepage of Xobin. Okay. Now, when you go to the assessments tab, all the assessments that are there are going to be displayed here, and you can basically create multiple groups, okay, and filter your assessments in that particular category. Okay. So we want an assessment. All the coding assessments, can be in one group. All the assessments for finance roles can be in another group. All the general aptitude assessments can be in one group, and all the psychometric assessments can be in one group. Okay, so you can categorize your assessments in group. Okay, now, and all the assessments which you will ever need for conducting a successful recruitment drive is already created and kept in your assessment library. Okay, whether it is a psychometric test or whether it is a coding test, MCQ test, whatever test, it is already created by our experts, subject matter experts. Okay, and it's created. Now, before you buy the product, we ask you in which region you're going to conduct the test. Okay, if you tell India, South India, we are going to go after Coimbatore colleges, like, we'll make sure that such relevant tests are automatically located in your dashboard. If you're going to say that, hey, we're going to go to tier 2, tier 3 colleges in North America, tests will be there accordingly. And the entire content also will be completely different based on the geography in which you are going to conduct the test. Now, you can just click on any of these tests and that test will be added into your dashboard. Okay? And after adding it into the dashboard, you can go ahead and click on these 3 dots and all the information is going to come. Yes, this is intimidating. Okay, but fundamentally, these settings are for managing the assessments. Okay, so whether you want to get a notification or whether you want to enable proctoring, which most likely yes if you're going for university hiring, whether you want to make this assessment as an assignment, meaning can the candidate take a week or 2? Can you want to give it as a take-home assignment to him? You can do. This is a link you can share in WhatsApp. What time to what time is going to be valid for this assessments? Right? All those things you can do here. The cover message is something that we newly launched. So basically, if you want to talk something about assessment before they start the test, you can make use of the cover message. Custom fields are like a small registration form before they take up the test. Like, hey, I want to go ahead and upload your resume, right? Just this is a compulsory thing, right? Just go ahead and upload your resume, and also enter your phone number. All right. So, and instructions are before starting the test. You go ahead and type the instructions which you want, and this is the general information. And after that, you can quickly click on save, and the test is ready to be launched. You can send the tests in 3 formats, right? You can click on the send invitation button. It is a small arrow mark button, right? If you guys notice, we have taken inspiration from Google Forms, so it's just like creating a Google form and sending it to other people. There are 3 ways in which you can send the assessment. Individually, one by one, you can go ahead and type the name and email of the candidate. Okay, traditional way of sending. For university hiring, we advise you to take this link. Take this link and just send the link to the TPO. You will forward it to the students group, or you take this link and send a mail to the candidate. Set time as to when do you want to take the test to happen. Bulk invites are an amazing thing. Like you can imagine, I'm not going to demo and show, but it's exactly going to work the way you guess it's going to work. Upload CSV file, name, email, 2 columns, create a CSV file, right? Go ahead and upload. If you are already, there is another feature called as lists. You can create different lists of candidates. College students in Satyabama College can be in one list. Students in this can be another list. You can create multiple lists, and you can go ahead and invite that particular list also to this assessment. Invites directly go to their email. Okay, you can also set as to till which time this invite has to be active in this particular place here. So till which date and time it has to be active. Okay. Now, there are a few other things that are very important when it comes to candidates, because campus hiring is all about students, making sure the students can't cheat. If every student gets the same question, 100% everybody will answer well in the test, because after one student writes the test, he will take screenshots and he will give the question and answer to his friend. Boyfriends will chat to girlfriends, girlfriends will chat to boyfriends, because it's not a competition. Everybody wants to get a job in this particular company if it is paying well. It's nothing wrong, because next 10 years is going to define your life. So here we've got features to make sure that different candidate gets different questions. This is called as custom rules. Okay, you can add a bunch of 50 questions overall to this section and say that any 2 out of the 7 questions should come up, and then save the rule. Okay, when you do that, what's going to happen is different candidates will get different questions. So they won't be able to really leave these questions, and they won't be really be able to copy the test. You can set timers, how much time they have to finish this test. And when you click on add question, you will get a complete list of questions, more than 40,000 odd questions, which get updated every month by our team. So, and there's a huge range of filter. When you click technology, there are hundreds of filters, and when you click on that particular filter, there are again hundreds of more filters. Okay, so hope I'm doing okay. All right. So there is hundreds of odd filter, and you click on coding questions. Again, there are hundreds of coding questions. You can select any questions you want, right? And you go ahead and add the selected questions. That's all. You can set an overall cutoff, and the students who take up the test well end up getting the job. Okay. So after they finish taking up the test, the reports will come in this format. Okay. So this is the name of the candidate, and these are the scores they have got. Okay. And You can also see the individual reports of the candidates. You can export all these reports into a single CSV file. You can shortlist them based on the scores. Just the way it has to work, it's going to work in a simple and a normal way, right? This is the detailed report of the candidate. If you click on the registration details, you can see the resume, the phone number, and the email of the candidates. And for each and every section, how much have they scored, right? In aptitude, how much they have scored, in coding, how much they have scored, in database fundamentals, how they have scored, in Python data structure, how much they have scored, etc. is going to be clearly visible. If you download all the reports together, even if there are 10,000 candidates in this particular assessment, everybody is going to be coming in an Excel sheet where in which you can sort and do anything you want. Okay, and it's just you go ahead and click on the mail, and you will get a email with all the candidates. So it's going to be as simple as that. These are my candidates module. I previously mentioned we can create lists, but this I'm not going to really talk about in this demos as such, because it's not going to be much helpful. However, I'd like to show something that we have done with respect to the proctoring segment. Okay, proctoring is very important because many people really asked me as to, I think Joshua and Kirti were asking how you can ensure students don't cheat. So we have, since we are high volume, we can't use AI excessively, but we are using it. For example, this is a small prototype which we are using. This can detect whether a candidate is taking up a test, whether he's present in the screen or not. And when I try to close my face, you guys can see the yellow log, no face found. And then when I open it back, it comes. You can set the threshold. Okay, this is based on, of course, we have huge amount of data of faces right now. So we have been over 6 years. So we train our engines to kind of detect faces and so on. And if there are 2 or 3 candidates taking up a test, right, too many faces comes. Agnes, in case if you're wondering who this is a local cinema superstar. It's pretty popular in India. So that's the proctoring feature. Proctoring can be enabled or disabled in assessments, no compulsion. Based on which region you're going, whatever security compliance you want to follow, you can enable or disable proctoring. But if you do that, it will completely be enabled through the complete duration of the test. And if the candidate is found to cheat, he will be blocked from taking the test. I'm going to stop here, and if there are questions, I will throw or answer accordingly. I think that will be more appropriate.
You showed Rajinikanth, because Rajinikanth is going to take up a test. Even proctoring will not work at that point in time. Jokes apart, Guru, thanks for that. Xobin, what is your one USP? Because most of them talk about the same. The proctoring, people talk about no cheating, people talk about the database, people talk about coding, people talk about everything, and so on and so forth. So what is the one USP you say, Joshua, this is my USP, so you can take Xobin as your assistant?
On papers, I think we are pretty much clean. We want to make sure that the system runs and it is being usable by a lot of people. We've never, it's like we are like Apple. Just because others are doing, we don't want to do it. We want to make sure we wait, make sure that things work. Few things we could have launched 3 years before, but only now we are launching. So because every day we conduct 5,000 assessments. Every day. What's different from us and our competitors is we are pretty much a high volume assessment platform. So, and our entire platform is modeled for that. We work at scale, so which means I was just calculating, I think RippleHire did their analytics. Per minute, every minute we do 20 assessments, so we do it at a very large scale, and all our products which we launch, it has to work at scale. Our customers are able to make the top of their funnel pretty big because of platforms like us. They ensure that there is no limit on how many people they can assess. Right? So they end up shortlisting much better candidates. So I think all what we build works on scale, and that is the fundamental thing that we do. And second thing is we give a lot of emphasis on candidate experience. If you check the lowest reviews of our competitors and Xobin, you will really understand that our tool is loved by candidates. It works, because it works at scale, and it's all about that individual attention to each and every question, making sure that their experience is great. These two things pretty much sets aside others. At least this is what the customers who've used other tools who come to Xobin, they're able to shortlist better people because we work at scale and we are able to assess much more better candidates.
Thank you. Thank you.
Joshua, so Kriti, you have any question?
Yeah, I have two questions, in fact, both relating to the proctoring mechanism, because that is very closer to my heart. So one question is, you already showed us the demo of how your face recognition happens. Now, moving on to the next level, so do you also authenticate whether he's the right candidate who's taking the assessment or not? Are you asking the candidate to upload the ID from the beginning and then validating whether is it Kritivasan who's actually uploaded the photo and is he taking up the exam or not?
Very good question, Kritivasan. So currently we are not doing it. We lack the exact tech firepower to do that. Because, and secondly, all our candidates are across the world, and it is very difficult to match the faces. Everybody's face is so different. It's a big problem to solve. It's very easy to say, but that's why most of them don't have it. Also, it's very difficult to solve. But having said that, whenever it's complicated, what we do is we allow the candidate to take a snapshot with his ID card, with his photo before he starts the test. And we also record his complete logs while taking up the test. Right now, the customer manually has to do the check. Right? Making sure whether the candidate is the one in the ID card is the one who's taking up the test. But automating and doing is something that we don't do it. For our scale, it doesn't work. Yeah.
But maybe you might want to think around it. Because
yes, definitely.
The next question I have on the similar lines is, do you also capture the audio if there is any background noise or if there is any audio someone is speaking? Do you also do the capturing of that as part of the assessment?
If the customer gives us permission to, we have not made it a toggle where people can enable it, but if the customer's request to, we do that, because you see there are a lot of implications with respect to privacy and security when it happens. It so happens that when the candidate takes up the test, a lot of things can happen in the background. They take up the test in all sorts of places, and we are the data processors. So we are very, very picky about this. But if the customer gives us in writing, we get the data and we do. Again, we are hesitant to process the data and give them, use an NLP and say them that, hey, this is what the candidate said. We don't want to do that. You hear the data. We collect the data and we give it to you. You hear the data. If he's copied, you found it, well and good. So we just act as collection and giving it, and the data is with the customer.
Because I have an interesting use case there also. I have seen people who are actually keeping their phones on speaker, okay, or they use a headset and then read out the question and someone else is giving the answer and they select the answer. So these are the new trends in the cheating.
Like I said, students are very creative. People can copy. If they decide to copy, they can copy. But we are very active in it. So we are ensuring that there are new things we can do in making sure that they can't copy. But right now in the remote work, online examinations were there, so everybody are experts in taking up these exams and cheating. But we are trying our best to act at least as a deterrence to stop them from doing it.
That's all.
Thanks, Kriti. Thanks, Joshua, for those questions. Really helpful. And thank you, everyone, Dotin, RippleHire, Newfast, and Xobin for the wonderful demos. Really very, very comprehensive. Thanks for joining us and have a great weekend, all of you.